All right, we are live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Daybreak Live. My name's Krissi. I'm with Positively Osceola, and Positively Osceola just wants to bring you news that informs, impacts, and inspires. So thank you so much for watching. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe to Positively Osceola on all different social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, we're on it, and we want to make sure that you're getting your notifications for the news in and around Osceola County all day long. Now, today I get a chance to talk with Charlie Draper from Draper Law Office, and he's a fantastic resource as an attorney. He's been doing this as a personal injury attorney since 1984. He has tons of information to share, and today we're going to be talking about all of the ads that you see for different attorneys everywhere. How do you know which one to choose? How do you know how to vet a really good quality attorney? How do you find amazing legal representation? So we're going to jump in and chat with him in a minute, but let's play the video and make it official. And then I'll introduce you to Charlie Draper. All right, here we go. All right. Once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Daybreak Live. Chatting today with Charlie Draper from Draper Law Office. As we all know, Osceola County is one of the fastest growing counties in the nation, and Central Florida tourism's industry is a leader in the world. And with that, life is going to happen, and people are going to need the help of attorneys. These days, we all see a flood of ads for attorneys promising that they're the best, that they're the biggest and the most caring, and all you have to do is give them a call, right? So now we're going to introduce you to Charlie. He's been serving Central Florida as a personal injury attorney and family law firm since 1984. So let's bring him on here. Hey, Charlie, how are you this morning?
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Krissi.
Absolutely. It's so nice to hear from you and have you on again. I'm so interested to hear about this topic that we're talking about today. So how does someone know where to turn for quality and trustworthy legal representation?
So it's not easy, but there are ways that you can narrow the field, so to speak.
Okay.
The public is just bombarded every day with lawyer ads, TV, radio, billboards, social media. This lawyer got me 400,000. This lawyer got me 650,000. This
Yep.
lawyer got me millions of dollars. And here's the truth. In order to get settlements or verdicts in those amounts, there are a number of factors that come into play. One, you've got to have good liability, that is fault. Okay.
Okay.
If you cause an accident, chances are you're not going to get one of those banner verdicts
Right.
because fault comes into play. Another factor that comes into play, in order to get those types of headline verdicts or settlements, you need a serious injury. Okay. Most those types of injuries that you see on billboards or TV ads,
Yep.
most of those injuries require multiple surgeries, large medical bills, substantial lost wages, and or future medical bills, treatment, and possibly future lost wages. So that's the type of injury that you have to suffer in order to get one of those headline verdicts. Most people that I know and talk with, they don't want to be that seriously injured. And so Not all injuries are the same. The third factor that comes into play is there's got to be adequate insurance to get those types of verdicts, okay? Uh, Unfortunately, in Florida, you can legally put a vehicle on the road with only two types of coverage. One, mandatory PIP coverage that covers your medical bills, not the other person's, and property damage liability coverage of $10,000. Okay? Florida does not require bodily injury liability coverage, and certainly and not uninsured motorist coverage.
Right.
Bodily injury coverage is designed to protect the insured in case they cause an accident. Okay, so if I'm driving down the road, and I cause an accident, and I carry substantial bodily injury coverage like 250,500, then if I seriously injure someone in the other vehicle, or a pedestrian or a bicyclist, then my insurance company will pay them for their injuries, their medical bills, lost wages,
Yes.
okay? Past, present, and future. However, if I only carry the bare minimum, and which is no bodily injury coverage, my insurance company will not pay that individual any money for their other than their property damage claim, and only up to $10,000 for property damage. Okay. Now, how can you protect yourself? You can carry uninsured / underinsured motorist coverage,
Right.
which is designed to protect you and your family members in the event that you're involved in an accident that you did not cause, and the other person, the faulty driver, either carries no bodily injury coverage or not sufficient coverage to compensate you. And so in that case, you would take their 10, 20,000, whatever, and then turn around to your insurance company and make up the difference depending upon the amount of uninsured motorist coverage. So, as I said, if for example, the other person has no bodily injury coverage and you have no uninsured motorist coverage, chances are most attorneys are not going to take your case
Oh,
because attorneys that do what I do, they work on a contingency fee basis.
sure.
No, no recovery, no attorney's fees, and no costs. So now, if you get involved in an accident with someone who has no insurance, but they're a Rockefeller or Gates or uh, someone with independent wealth, that's a different story, but that's so rare. So you've got to have fault in your favor. You've got to have a serious injury with probably multiple surgeries, large medical bills, substantial lost wages. Uh, you've got to have substantial insurance coverage in order to satisfy your injury claim, your damages, your medical bills, and so forth. So that's the truth about the advertising. In order to have those headline verdicts or settlements, you've got to have those three factors come into play. Uh, I've come up with 8 things that I think you should look for in vetting an attorney before hiring one.
That's what I
And,
was just going to ask. Like, after you have all of those things and you're set up for that, then how do you choose?
okay, so uh, this isn't a gold standard list, but it's pretty much common sense.
Okay.
Uh, One, you should focus your attention on hiring, or I should say, interviewing first hiring later, interviewing an attorney who is specialized in that field or
Hmm.
area,
Hmm.
and that they're experienced. You know, personal injury practice, it's a large spectrum that covers so many specialized areas within it. Automobile accidents, workers' comp, medical malpractice, nursing home
Oh, wow.
neglect, uh, product defects, disability, VA benefits. I mean, these are all, uh, along the spectrum of personal injury. And you need to find someone who is specialized and experienced in that particular area. Okay. Uh, Secondly, the person that you're eventually going to hire has got to be knowledgeable about the specific issues, because each practice area has their own issues involved that you need to be aware of, and know the strengths and weaknesses of your case in the context of that particular specific injury claim,
Yeah.
be it medical malpractice or nursing home. Um, I also think, thirdly, that the individual should be a good communicator. You should be able to, and I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, but he should be able to educate you,
Right.
Be- because most of the members of the public do not know, what is a good case and what is a bad case.
No way.
What is the value of your case? What are the issues that you need to be able to prove in order to succeed? So you need someone who will take the time to educate you. And number four, you need someone I think, is a good appraiser. Houses sell on the market. They have their sales is based on good appraising. Well, we as attorneys have to be good appraisers. We have to appraise, uh, the value of the case, the facts of the case. It's rare to have any two clients who have exactly the same case.
Mm.
Okay, the values of the claims are different. You need to avoid, in my opinion, an attorney who makes big promises before finding out all of the facts of the case, including the knowledge. But sometimes there's that tendency to uh, uh, give you, tell you a large number in hopes that you will uh, hire that individual. And I think also the attorney that you hire, you want to make sure that they're accessible and responsive, that they return calls and emails, that they keep you informed at each stage of the process. Uh, and our policy is, if you can't get back to someone within that same day, definitely within 24 hours. There's no excuse not to.
Huge,
Uh,
huge red flag if you can't.
exactly. Um, Another factor I consider, you've got to be likable and feel, the client, have to feel comfortable with the attorney, uh, most likely because you're going to be with that attorney probably for close to a year, if not longer.
Right.
Uh, when a client first comes in, you know, unless there's an obvious injury like a traumatic amputation or a severe brain injury, most of the cases that we see are spinal injuries, whiplash, neck, back,
Well, yeah.
knee, shoulders, that kind of thing. And so it takes time and medical treatment, medical diagnostic imaging to really find out what injuries are caused by this accident. And so my point is just the diagnostic process can take several months before you
Mm,
find exactly what your injuries are. So you're going to be with that attorney for, as I said, close to a year, if not longer.
right, right.
Another item that I listed was financial ability of the uh, individual attorney or firm. Uh, if you file suit, you've got to be able to go the distance, and I mean the attorney has to be able to go the distance to be able to retain the necessary experts that will help you win your case. And so it's not something that you should ignore. In other words, if if you come across an attorney who says, "Yeah, I do Social Security, I do workers' comp, do a little bit of criminal. Oh, by the way, I do personal injury."
Yes, I dabble in all these different areas.
Yes, a master of none. But and then I think the final factor would be look at their reviews because in this day and age we're constantly influenced by reviews. Okay, and so if you whether you're talking about a doctor or lawyer, a restaurant, we're constantly looking for reviews because these are experiences by other clients about you and your staff and your firm and whether they be good, or bad. And so I think I know that we get probably because we don't do TV advertising, radio advertising, billboard. We have one in billboard, I think, but we get most of ours by referrals from previous clients who are satisfied. And so these are just 8 of the factors that uh, I think that a person who needs an attorney should look at. And as I said, they're basically common sense. And so if it fits, then that's good. And so, that's not to say anything negative about these large firms that
Right, right, right.
do this advertising, but just be aware that it's you've got to have those 3 factors come into play in order to get those headline verdicts or settlements. So,
Yes, you can't just expect to have an accident in some way, shape, or form and then call a gigantic firm. Like there's so much more that goes into it, you know? And
it is.
I don't think we think about that. So thank you for that advice.
You're very welcome, and any questions, I'd be more than happy to share. Uh, it's something that I think is important and is relevant, particularly. Um, I'm not sure if you're seeing it, but we see it every day in commute, either going home or coming back. There's so many accidents that
I
are
know.
happening. Some small fender benders, okay. Some substantial property damage accidents, and some having paramedics at the scene. So uh, unfortunately, as probably with most of the nation, with all the building and the growth in Osceola County,
Yeah.
um, you're putting more and more cars on the road, and roads that are designed to accommodate traffic 10 years or 20 years ago. And
Right.
it's just not realistic. And as you know, I mean, a lot of if not most of the drivers, or a lot of the drivers out there, are in a hurry, they're distracted. And so, and in this time of the year, we've got tourists down here, both within the country as well as international. So you can't be too careful out there. You've got to at 360 degrees a view of everything. So, and always anticipate the worst,
Right. And other
Uh,
drivers.
exactly, because chances are it's probably going to happen. And
That's
so
just how it's going to be, isn't it?
it
People make
is.
mistakes and errors, and we have to come back from that.
We do. We do. So those are my opinions as to what I think are important for an individual who's looking for a personal injury attorney. And
Fantastic.
so
Is there, other than what we see scrolling across the bottom, is there a different way that we can get a hold of y'all, or should we just go to draperlawoffice.com, call the number? What's the best way to reach Draper Law Office if we have questions?
probably calling,
Okay.
uh, st- uh, going to our website. Uh, our our staff are able to field a lot of the questions, uh, and I usually get back with the individual to explain, whether they have a good case, a not so good case, and why they don't have a good case, or why they do have a case, and why it's important that they take certain steps. Not, not you need to hire me,
Yeah, no.
but it's to educate the individual of the issues that will come within that area. Again, we handle automobile accidents. Probably 90% of the cases we handle are automobile accidents.
Okay.
Another 10% are slip and fall, trip and falls, an occasional dog bite, but it's mainly automobile accidents.
Okay.
And so we don't we don't we refer out any workers' comp cases, any Social Security disability cases, medical malpractice cases, uh, products cases, nursing home cases. We don't try to be uh, everything for all people. So you just can't do it. It's
Right.
too specialized. There's too much knowledge that's required for each practice area. So
Well, and I think that it's something to be said that you and your team have been around since 1984. You know what you're doing. You have access to all the education that is out there, and you're sharing that with the public. So thank you.
you're very welcome. I think it's important because a lot of people that are involved in an accident, it's their first accident. Now, having said that, we have had repeat customers, frequent flyers, so to speak.
You
Uh,
you punch their rewards card every time they come in, huh?
but for most part, I think most people go through life without being involved in an accident. But
That's awesome.
with the growth that we're experiencing here in Osceola, the increased traffic, the distracted drivers, the you uh, tired drivers, the drunk drivers, the impaired drivers. You just can't be too careful. You
Right.
really can't. So,
And having so many variables, you have to be prepared. So the fact that you're willing to come on and share with us, every few weeks, this is fantastic news. Whether it's you or anyone on your team, you're all insanely knowledgeable and it's very helpful. So I thank you.
you're very welcome. Glad to be a part of your show.
Aw, thanks. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Now, be safe, be smart, and good health to everyone.
Fantastic. All right, Mr. Draper, it's been an honor as usual. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. So as you can see, Mr. Charlie Draper himself, thank you so much. And we are so grateful for those of you that are watching. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, pop them in the comments, or you can reach out to Positively Osceola directly and we can direct them to Mr. Draper if you have any. Or remember, you can always go to draperlawoffice.com. All right, everyone, that's going to be it for this episode of Daybreak Live. Thanks again, Charlie, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Krissi.
Bye-bye.